Evan Walker had visited many strange planets before, but nothing felt as mysterious as the world called Zellara. The air smelled sweet, the sky had 3 suns, and the wind carried soft glowing dust that moved like small fireflies. He came as a simple human trader, hoping to exchange medicine and tools with peaceful alien tribes. His job was not dangerous. At least that was what he believed. A group of local guides led him into the heart of a large alien village. The ground was covered with smooth blue stones that lit up under his boots. Tall wooden towers surrounded the village, and at the center stood a huge circle decorated with banners of gold and silver. The people of this tribe, called the Ilari, were slender, calm, and beautiful. Their skin carried glowing lines that looked like living tattoos. They watched Evan with wide, curious eyes, whispering among themselves. He tried to stay relaxed, but something felt strange. Everyone looked too excited, too ready, as if they had been waiting for him. Evan had a feeling he had walked into something he did not understand. The tribe leader finally stepped forward. He was tall, with silver markings that glowed brighter than all the others. He raised his hands and spoke in a deep voice. Evan could not understand the Ilari language, but the leader's tone sounded formal, almost ceremonial. Then the leader signaled someone to come forward. A young alien girl stepped out from behind the crowd. Evan's breath caught. She was stunning. Her skin carried soft blue light that shimmered like water. Her hair flowed like silver silk. Her eyes were large and bright, filled with quiet strength but also gentle fear. She looked very young, maybe close to Evan's age. Her name, as someone whispered, was Lyra. She walked slowly toward him, holding her hands close to her chest. The crowd grew completely silent, almost holding their breath. Evan felt confused. Why was the moment so serious? He looked around, hoping someone would explain, but the Ilari only watched him carefully. He decided to be polite. He smiled nervously and took a small step forward. Lyra stopped at arm's length. Her face turned slightly pink, and she bowed her head with shy respect. Evan tried to show kindness. He raised his right hand for a simple human greeting, a handshake. That was all he meant, just a handshake. But the moment their hands touched, everything changed. A powerful burst of light shot up from Lyra's skin. The glowing symbols on her arm exploded with brilliant blue energy, spreading across the entire circle. The stones under their feet began to shine, and the banners around them flapped as if pushed by a sudden wind. The entire tribe gasped loudly. Drums began to pound in the distance. Bells rang from the towers. Warriors dropped to one knee. Women covered their mouths. Children pointed in excitement. Evan blinked, completely lost. What happened? He whispered to himself. The leader stepped forward with wide, shocked eyes. His voice boomed across the village as he shouted something Ilari language. The crowd repeated the same word again and again, cheering with happiness and awe. Evan felt panic rise in his chest. He looked at Lyra. She was staring at him with trembling lips, her eyes shining with tears, yet not sad. They were emotional, almost hopeful. Did I do something wrong? He asked. Lyra shook her head slowly. Then she whispered in soft, broken English, "No, you did something sacred." Evan swallowed hard. Sacred? She nodded. Her voice shook. You touched my marked hand. You held it with your own. This means you accepted me. You accepted my bond. He stared at her, frozen. The tribe kept cheering louder and louder. Lyra took a breath and finally said it clearly. Human, you just married me. Evan's heart nearly stopped. I what? But Lyra wasn't finished. She stepped back and pointed at the glowing markings across her arms. In my tribe, I am not only one girl. I am the bride of the clan. Anyone who marries me, marries all of us. Our laws say the husband becomes protector of the whole tribe. Evan felt dizzy. He looked around at hundreds of cheering aliens. The weight of their expectation crushed him like a mountain. He whispered to himself, "I only shook her hand. I only shook her hand." But there was no mistake. The Alari believed fate had chosen him. The human had accidentally married an alien girl. And also her entire tribe. The drums grew louder, echoing across the glowing village, sealing his new destiny. Evan stood in the middle of the glowing village circle, still shocked by the cheers, the drums, and the strange bright symbols swirling around Lyra's arm. He had never felt so confused in his entire life. A few minutes ago, he thought he was giving a friendly human handshake. Now the tribe believed he had joined their clan through an ancient marriage ritual. Nothing about this made sense. He took a step back, raising his hands. Wait, there's been a misunderstanding. Humans do this all the time. It's only a greeting. But the Alari villagers only laughed with joy, as if he had said something funny. They clapped and shouted blessings in their own language. To them, the event was a miracle, not a mistake. Lyra stood quietly in front of him, her glowing markings slowly calming down. Her eyes were full of mixed emotions: fear, hope, confusion, and something else he couldn't understand yet. She didn't look angry. She didn't look disappointed. Instead, she looked almost grateful. The tribe leader approached Evan again. His tall figure cast a long shadow under the three suns. He placed his hand over his chest and bowed deeply. "You honor U.S. human heart guest," he said in slow, careful English. "Never in our history did we believe this moment would come." Evan blinked. "Honor? I don't think I honored anything. I just shook her hand." The leader smiled gently, but also sadly, as if he knew how heavy this moment truly was. "Marked hand," he said, pointing to Lyra's glowing palm, "is not touched lightly. Only a chosen partner may hold it. Your touch awakened the bond. This is the sacred marriage of the mark." Evan felt a headache forming. Okay. But why? Is this bond so important? Why is everyone acting like this changes everything? The leader did not answer immediately. Instead, he motioned for Evan and Lyra to follow him to a quieter area, a stone platform surrounded by hanging lights. The crowd stepped aside respectfully, watching with excitement as the new husband walked through their ranks. When they reached the platform, the leader began speaking in a gentle tone. "Lyra is the last daughter born with the ancient mark. Our legends say she carries the energy of the tribe's first guardian. Anyone who joins with her becomes part of the tribe's spirit. It is not a small thing, human." Evan looked at Lyra. She kept her head slightly lowered, her hands close to her chest. The glowing lines on her skin continued to pulse softly, as if they were alive. He whispered, "You didn't expect this either, did you?" Lyra shook her head. "No, I only came forward because the elder asked me. I never thought a human would touch my hand so freely." Her voice trembled, and Evan felt a small wave of guilt. She wasn't angry. She was overwhelmed. The elder continued, "For many years, other tribes have hunted us. They want Lyra for her power. They want the bond she carries. But only someone who can survive her energy may join with her. Alien males cannot. Humans, maybe." Evan rubbed his forehead. "So shaking her hand is like saying yes to all this?" "Yes," the leader replied. To her clan, to our future. The bond is already forming." Evan's heart thumped harder. This was too much responsibility for a simple handshake. He wasn't even sure he wanted marriage on Earth, forget an entire alien tribe on Zalara. "But I didn't know," Evan protested. "On my world, touching hands is normal. It's not a marriage signal." Lyra finally looked up at him, her expression soft and honest. "I know, you are confused, but what is done cannot be undone easily. The mark accepted you." He felt a strange sensation in his palm, a gentle warmth where their hands had touched. Earlier, it was still there, almost like a faint pulse moving inside his skin. "What is that feeling?" he asked. Lyra hesitated. "It is the bond starting its path. It means you share a small part of my energy now. And I share a part of yours." Evan stepped back in shock. "This thing spreads?" The leader nodded slowly. "Over days, yes. You will grow stronger, faster, more aware. The Guardian's energy will guide you. It is our wedding gift to the chosen heart." This was too unbelievable, even for a sci-fi world. Evan looked around at the tribe, their joyful faces glowing under the suns. They believed in him. They trusted him. They were ready to follow him, but he didn't even know if he wanted any of this. Lyra touched her own heart gently. "You did not choose me on purpose, but I will not force you to stay. Still, if you leave now, the bond may hurt you. And it will hurt me too." Evan felt torn inside. This was no longer a small cultural mistake. It was a serious connection, physical and emotional, woven by alien energy. He took a deep breath. He had a decision to make. Stay. And try to understand this. World. Or walk away. And risk breaking two hearts, and maybe an entire tribe. Evan spent the rest of the day feeling like he was walking through a dream he did not understand. Everywhere he went, tribe members followed him with excitement. They offered him fruit, water, flower bands, and small gifts. Children touched his hands to feel the human skin of the chosen husband. Warriors bowed when he passed. Elders watched him with hope in their eyes. Evan did not feel like anyone's hero. He only felt confused. Lyra walked beside him in silence, her glowing markings dim and calm for now. She seemed nervous, unsure of what to say. Evan wanted answers, and he knew she was the only one who could truly explain. That night, as the three suns lowered into the horizon and the sky turned purple, the tribe guided Evan to a quiet shelter near a forest edge. A gentle breeze moved the tall grass, and small floating lights drifted through the air. Inside the shelter, Lyra waited alone. She stood with her back to him, her silver hair drifting like mist. When she turned, her eyes were soft but full of worry. "You want to know the truth?" she whispered. Evan nodded. "Yes, I need to understand what is happening to me, and why this bond matters so much to your people." Lyra sat on a stone bench and gestured for him to sit too. She kept her hands on her knees, as if afraid to touch him again. "My power," she began, "is not normal. I was born with the ancient mark. It gives me energy that many tribes fear and desire. Most Alari girls have only small markings. Mine carry the Guardian's light." "What does that mean?" Evan asked. "It means I am dangerous without control," she said quietly. "If the wrong person joins with me, the energy burns them from inside. Only someone whose heart matches mine can survive the bond." Evan looked down at the faint glow still pulsing on his palm. "And I matched?" She nodded slowly. "Your touch did not harm me, and my touch did not break you. That is why the elders call you the chosen heart." Evan exhaled, overwhelmed. So the bond wasn't only marriage, it was also a test. Yes, a test of life. A cold wind blew through the shelter. The lights outside dimmed for a moment. Evan frowned. "Why does your tribe fear other tribes? What do they want from you?" Lyra's expression darkened with sadness. Her hands tightened together. "There is a hostile race that lives beyond the Red Mountains. They are called the Ravagers. They hunt rare powers across Zalara. They believe my mark can make them stronger. They have attacked my tribe many times." Evan felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Attacked? How recently?" "Last season," she said softly. "Many of our warriors fell. We ran and hid in the forest for weeks, but the Ravagers always return. They want me. They will not stop." Evan's throat tightened. Suddenly, the celebration earlier felt heavier. The tribe was not cheering for joy alone. They were cheering for hope, for protection, for survival. Lyra continued. The elders believed that if a human could bond with me, the tribe would gain a guardian again. A protector strong enough to fight beside us. Evan shook his head. But I'm not a warrior. I'm just a trader. You touched my hand, Lyra said. The bond has already begun. You will feel changes soon. As if her words triggered something, Evan felt a strange pulse inside his chest. A quick flash of heat, then a cooling wave. His senses sharpened for a moment, like his ears caught distant sounds he should not hear. Evan rubbed his arms. What was that? Lyra hesitated. Your body is adjusting to my energy. It will give you strength, but it will also attract danger. Evan blinked. Danger? Before she could answer, a deep animal growl echoed from outside. Lyra's eyes widened. She leapt to her feet. They're close. Evan stood quickly. Who's close? But he already sensed its shadows moving between the trees. Heavy breathing in the wind, something watching them from the darkness. Lyra whispered, the Ravager scouts. They are looking for me. Evan's heart raced. Fear hit him hard, but something else rose with it. Instinct. His muscles tightened. His mind focused sharply, more than ever before. Lyra pulled Evan behind her. Stay close. My energy is loud tonight. They can smell it. Evan felt that warm pulse in his palm again. This time stronger, like a signal calling to him. He whispered, What do we do? Lyra looked into his eyes, fear and trust mixed together. We survive. Together, she said. Outside, branches snapped. Footsteps circled the shelter, and glowing red eyes appeared in the night. The danger had arrived, and Evan was no longer a simple human. He was the one they were hunting for. Asterisk. The forest outside the shelter grew darker as the wind carried the scent of danger. Evan could hear footsteps slow, heavy, deliberate. Whoever or whatever was out there knew how to hunt. Lyra's glowing markings brightened with fear, casting soft blue light across the wooden walls. Evan swallowed hard. How many are there? Lyra closed her eyes and breathed deeply, sensing the energy around them. 3 scouts, maybe 4. Ravagers don't travel alone. Evan peeked through a gap in the wooden wall. Red eyes glowed in the shadowed trees. Their bodies were tall and twisted, with bone armor growing from their skin. They moved silently. Too silently for something so large, he whispered. Are they here? For you? Yes, Lyra said. They always come for me first. Evan felt something tighten in his chest. Fear, yes, but also anger. He didn't even understand the bond completely, yet the idea of these creatures hunting Lyra made something inside him burn. We have to warn your tribe, Evan said. Lyra shook her head quickly. No, if we run now, they will follow us into the village. Many will die. The scouts must be stopped here. Evan stared at her in disbelief. By who? Just us? Lyra hesitated, as if she didn't want to say the next words. Evan, the bond awakened something inside you. You may already have strength you did not know. He frowned. I'm not a fighter. But the Guardian's energy is inside you now. It lives in your heart, your blood, your bones. It will move when you need it. Another growl sounded outside. Closer. The wooden wall shook under something heavy. Lyra grabbed his hand. You must trust it. The moment her skin touched his, a powerful heat shot through Evan's arm, spreading across his chest and down his legs. His vision sharpened. His hearing expanded. He could suddenly count every Ravager around them by the weight of their footsteps, and he could feel their hunger. He jerked his hand away, startled. What was that? The energy heard you, Lyra said softly. It listens when your heart is afraid. Evan turned as the door cracked open from a hard strike. A claw pushed through, scraping the wood. They're coming in, he whispered. Lyra stepped closer to him. Evan, listen. If they take me, the tribe falls. And you, because of the bond, you will not survive either. We fight because we must." The door shattered. A massive Ravager scout pushed inside, its body covered in dark bone plates. Its long claws dripped with black liquid. Its red eyes locked straight on Lyra. Evan reacted without thinking. His body moved faster than he ever had in his life. He grabbed Lyra and pulled her behind him. The Ravager attacked, swinging its claw toward Evan's head, but Evan's new reflexes activated. He ducked smoothly, feeling time slow around him. He could see the air shift around the claw. He could feel the creature's weight shift, then his arm moved on its own fast, powerful. He punched the Ravager in the chest. A shockwave burst from his fist. The creature flew backward, smashing into a tree outside with a crack of bone. The forest glowed from the impact. Evan stared at his hand, stunned. "What did I just do?" Lyra's eyes widened with awe. "The Guardian's power, you woke it." Another Ravager lunged through the broken door. Evan reacted again, turning with unnatural speed. His foot connected with the creature's knee, bending it sideways with a sharp crack. A third Ravager leapt at him from the roof, crashing down with a roar. Evan rolled aside and grabbed a fallen wooden beam. It felt strangely light in his hands. When the Ravager rushed again, Evan swung the beam with all his strength. The beam exploded into splinters, but the Ravager was thrown across the clearing like a rag doll. Evan stood there, breathing hard, glowing faintly with Lyra's blue energy. His heart pounded with fear and shock, but also something deeper. Instinct. Lyra stepped toward him, her eyes shining. "You are becoming the Heart Guard, Evan, the one our legends spoke of." Evan shook his head. "I didn't train for this. I didn't choose this." "No," Lyra whispered. "But the bond chose you." Before Evan could reply, the fourth Ravager scout crawled from the shadows. It was larger, smarter, and its red eyes studied Evan carefully. Then it spoke in a deep, broken voice. "Human, Guardian. We will return with many." Evan stiffened. "What?" The creature crawled back into the forest, leaving a warning in its wake. Lyra grabbed Evan's arm. "They will bring an army. They know you awakened." Evan looked at his glowing palm. His life had changed completely. He was no longer a simple human traitor. He was now a target and a protector, a guardian for Lyra and for the entire tribe. The night grew colder after the Ravagers retreated. The forest seemed to hold its breath, watching the shelter where Evan and Lyra stood. Pieces of broken wood lay across the ground, glowing faintly with energy from the strange battle. Evan's hands still shook, not from fear, but from shock at the strength inside him. He had never felt anything like it. Lyra watched him silently, her glowing markings softening as the danger faded. She stepped closer, careful not to overwhelm him. "You fought like the guardian of our legends," she whispered. "The bond chose well." Evan ran a hand through his hair. "I didn't choose anything. I didn't even choose to be here. I only came to trade supplies." "I know," Lyra said gently. "But our world and my tribe needed someone like you." Evan looked at her, confused. "Why me? Why a human? Why not someone from your own people?" Lyra took a deep breath, as if preparing to reveal something she rarely spoke about. "Because," she said softly, "no Ilari male can survive the mark." She held up her glowing arm. The symbols shimmered like living fire under her skin. "This energy is not normal," she continued. "It burns anyone who's not compatible. Many tried in the past, warriors, leaders, protectors. None survived. The bond destroys them within hours. Their hearts cannot match mine." Evan's stomach tightened. "So your people lost many good men," Lyra finished quietly. Evan fell silent. He had seen battle wounds on their warriors earlier that day, but he hadn't known how deep the tribe's pain truly went. Lyra continued, her voice trembling. "My mother believed that only a human could survive the mark. Humans have a different kind of energy. Stronger, wilder. Your hearts are not shaped like ours. They can bend with the bond instead of breaking. Evan frowned. So the tribe was waiting for me? For someone, Lyra corrected. Anyone human. They prayed for a visitor from another world. But no human ever touched my hand. Until. She stared at him with deep emotion. You lived. You didn't fall, and when the bond awakened, it accepted you. Evan looked at the faint glowing marks on his palm. He felt a slow, warm pulse spreading through his arm. It wasn't painful. It felt almost alive, he whispered. Why didn't your tribe tell me all this before I touched your hand? Lyra lowered her head in shame. Because if we asked, you might refuse. And if you refused, the tribe would lose hope, Evan sighed. So they tricked me. No, Lyra said quickly. They didn't mean harm. They believed fate would decide. If your heart was wrong for me, the bond would reject you. They trusted the mark to choose. Evan opened his mouth to argue, but he couldn't. A part of him knew she was right. The mark did choose. It reacted instantly when he touched her. It accepted him. And now he carried some of its power. Lyra's voice softened. You survived. Something no Ilari warrior could. Do you understand what that means to us? Evan didn't know how to answer. She continued. The Ravagers want my power. If they capture me, they will use me to destroy other tribes. But with you. She stepped closer, her eyes glowing like soft blue stars. With you, we finally have a chance. Evan felt something shift inside him, not fear, but responsibility. You think I can protect you, he said. Lyra whispered. And not only me, the whole clan. Evan hesitated. But I don't know how to use this power. I don't even know what it is. We will teach you, Lyra said. Her voice grew stronger. The elder knows the old training. There are rituals, breathing methods, and ways to control the Guardian's energy. If you learn them, you can face the Ravagers without fear. Evan took a long breath. And if I refuse? Lyra's eyes dimmed. Then I will be taken. The tribe will fall. And the bond will break us both. That last part hit him hard. Evan felt the bond pulse softly in his chest, as if reminding him it existed, linking him to Lyra, connecting his fate to hers. He looked at her again. She wasn't only beautiful. She was brave, strong, determined to protect her people, even if she stood alone. Evan realized something then. He didn't want her to stand alone. He stepped closer, his voice steady. I don't know what's happening to me, but I'll learn. And I'll fight, not because your tribe expects it, but because I won't let those creatures hurt you. Lyra's breath caught. Her markings brightened with a soft, warm glow, an emotional response her kind could not hide. Evan, she whispered, touched beyond words. He nodded firmly. Let's face this together. Outside, the distant howl of Ravagers echoed across the mountains, cold, hungry, promising war. But for the first time, Evan didn't feel afraid. He felt ready. The next morning arrived with a dim and heavy sky. Thick red clouds drifted over the mountains, moving slowly like a warning. The Ilari tribe felt the change instantly. Warriors sharpened their bone spears. Elders whispered old prayers, and children stayed close to their mothers. Everyone knew what was coming. The Ravagers had seen the bond awaken, and they would return not as scouts, but as an army. Evan walked beside Lyra toward the center of the village where the elder waited. His steps felt different now, stronger, faster. Every sense in his body seemed awake. He could hear distant footsteps miles away. He could feel vibrations through the ground when warriors walked. The bond had changed him, the elder approached with a solemn expression. His silver markings glowed faintly as he studied Evan. The energy inside you is unstable, he said, but powerful. Today we shape it. Evan nodded, though he still felt unsure. How do I control it? With breath. With focus. With purpose, the elder replied. The guardian's power obeys the heart. If your heart is calm, the energy will follow. Lyra stood beside them, her own markings glowing with soft reassurance. I will guide him, she said. The elder smiled weakly. Then let us begin. The training before the Esteramaven stood in the center of a stone circle, while Lyra and the elder taught him the old guardian methods. He learned to steady his breathing, to feel the bond in his chest, to call the energy when needed and calm it when it grew too wild. At first, the energy inside him shook violently, rushing through his veins like lightning. His hands trembled, and his heartbeat became loud in his ears. But Lyra placed her glowing hand on his back, and the energy softened instantly. It listens to you, she whispered. Or maybe it listens to you, Evan replied with a small smile. They continued until the suns reached midday and Evan's confidence grew. He learned to push energy into his arms, making his strength rise. He learned to sense movement in a full circle around him. He learned to ground his fear instead of letting it rule him. But no training could prepare him for what came next. A long, echoing horn sounded from the forest. Every Alari warrior froze, faces drained of color. Lyra's markings flared bright in fear. Evan felt a heavy wave of pressure roll through the ground. The Ravagers, Lyra whispered. They are here. The enemy Aravis's forest exploded with movement as dozens, maybe hundreds, of Ravagers charged out from between the trees. Their bone armor rattled, their claws flashed, and their glowing red eyes focused straight on the village. Evan felt the ground shake beneath him. The tribe formed a defensive circle, shields raised, spears pointed forward. But even with preparation, fear spread like wildfire. The Ravagers were huge. Their breath came out as black steam. Their growls vibrated the air. The lead Ravager stepped forward, a massive creature with red veins glowing across its chest. It lifted its head and roared, shaking leaves from the trees. Give us the marked one, it growled. Or we take her. Lyra stepped closer to Evan, trembling. Evan's jaw tightened. You're not taking her. The Ravager leader turned his burning eyes toward him. Human guardian, the bond awakened your blood. We want that power too. The tribe murmured in fear, but Evan stepped in front of them all. You're not touching her, or this tribe. The Ravager leader laughed like grinding bones. Then you die first. The battle begins. The Ravagers charged. The Alari warriors rushed to meet them with battle cries. Spears clashed against bone armor. Shields cracked under claws. The ground filled with dust and shouts and flashing blue and red light. Evan felt the bond pulse hard inside him, hot, bright, demanding action. He ran into the fight. A Ravager swung at him with a heavy claw. Evan ducked, grabbed its wrist, and slammed it into the ground with strength he didn't know he had. Another Ravager lunged. Evan spun, kicking the creature so hard it flew through two warriors and crashed into a rock. Energy surged up his arms, fast. Wild, his vision sharpened. His hearing caught every cry, every movement. For the first time, he felt like the guardian the tribe believed in. But Lyra was the center of everything. A group of Ravagers broke through the line, heading straight for her. Evan's heart stopped. Lyra. He sprinted, energy bursting from his feet like blue fire. He reached her just as a Ravager leapt from behind. Evan caught the creature mid-air, slammed it into the ground, and crushed its bone armor with a single punch. Lyra gasped as the glow from her markings flared bright again. The bond pulsed between them, fear, strength, emotion, all mixing into one force that filled Evan's chest. Evan, she whispered, you're becoming the guardian. Evan turned to face the battlefield again. No, he said quietly. I'm becoming what I have to be, to protect you. The Ravager leader roared and charged straight at him. The true battle was just beginning. The Ravager leader charged with the force of a falling mountain. The ground cracked under each of his steps. Warriors scattered, trees shook, the sky seemed to darken around him. Evan stood his ground, but even with the Guardian's energy inside he could feel the weight of this enemy's power. Lyra stood behind Evan, her markings glowing wildly. Fear and hope battled inside her. The tribe watched from every direction, breathless, knowing this moment would decide their future. The Ravager leader roared and swung a massive claw at Evan. Evan raised his arm in instinct, and the bond answered. Blue energy exploded from his palm like a shield. The claw struck it, sending a shockwave through the clearing. Dust flew into the air. Warriors stumbled. Lyra shielded her face. The Ravager staggered back in surprise. Evan felt the energy burn through his veins. It was stronger now, almost overflowing. "You will not take her," Evan said through clenched teeth. The Ravager growled. "The girl is power. You are only human." "Maybe," Evan whispered, "but humans don't break easily." The Ravager roared and attacked again. This time Evan met him halfway. Their clash shook the ground. Evan's fist struck the Ravager's chest, releasing a burst of blue energy. Cracks formed along the monster's bone armor. The Ravager retaliated with a powerful blow that sent Evan rolling across the earth. Evan gasped as pain shot through him, but the bond steadied his heart. He pushed himself up. Lyra ran to his side. "Evan, stop, you've done enough." He shook his head. "Not until you're safe." The Ravager leader charged again, faster than before. Evan grabbed a broken spear from the ground and let the bond guide him. His senses sharpened. Time slowed. He stepped to the side, dodging the massive claws, and drove the spear straight into a glowing vein on the Ravager's chest. Blue and red light exploded from the impact. The Ravager screamed in rage and pain. Evan pushed harder, channeling every bit of the bond's energy. The spear shattered, but the glowing crack in the Ravager's armor spread, widening until, with one final burst of power, Evan punched the crack. The Ravager leader collapsed with a thunderous crash, shaking the forest floor. His red eyes dimmed. His breath stopped. Silence filled the battlefield. The remaining Ravagers froze. Their leader was dead. Fear spread through their ranks. One by one, they backed away, growling in confusion. Then, without a word, they retreated into the forest, vanishing into the shadows. The Alari tribe watched them leave. Stunned. Then cheers erupted across the clearing. Warriors raised their spears. Elders wept. Children ran out from hiding. The drums began beating, not for fear, but for victory. Lyra stood before Evan, tears shining in her eyes. Her markings glowed softly with emotion. "You saved us," she whispered. Evan shook his head. "We saved each other." She reached for his hand, hesitant, gentle, but full of meaning. When their palms touched, a warm pulse spread through both of them. The bond glowed, brighter than ever before. The elder stepped forward, raising his staff high. "The Guardian has awakened. The tribe is safe. The bond is complete." The entire village began chanting Evan's new name. "Heartguard! Heartguard!" Evan felt overwhelmed, but not with fear this time. With belonging. For the first time since arriving on Zalara, he felt like he had a place, a purpose. Lyra squeezed his hand. "Evan, you do not have to stay, but if you do, you will never be alone again." He looked at her, the girl he had accidentally married, with a handshake, the girl whose life was now bound with his own, the girl whose trust he had earned through fire and battle. He smiled softly. "I didn't choose this bond at first, but now, I choose you. And I choose your tribe." Lyra's breath caught. Her markings brightened, flowing like living silver. She stepped closer, lifting his hand to her heart. "Then let us complete the final oath," she whispered. The tribe formed a great circle around them. The elder raised his staff as the suns aligned above, bathing the clearing in golden light. Lyra placed her forehead against Evan's, their palms pressed together, glowing brightly. The bond flared one last time, warm, strong, and peaceful. Elders spoke, by the mark of light, by the bond of hearts, by the courage of battle. Evan Walker becomes guardian of the Ilari, protector of our people, and chosen partner of Lyra. A soft wind swept through the village, carrying petals of glowing flowers. Evan felt the energy settle inside him, not wild now, but steady. Part of him, forever. Lyra whispered, "Welcome home, Evan." He smiled, "I'm home." The tribe cheered. As the bond sealed completely, the human who came as a simple trader had become a legend. A guardian, a husband, and family to an entire alien tribe.